The definition of boy band is open to debate and varies from person to person, but the kind that we've been looking at generally fall into the category of homoerotic dancers, no instruments, and limited vocal ability. And it arguably all starts with this man. Openly gay northern soul producer Ian Levine, founder of gay singing dancing group 7th Avenue. In 1979 he put together a group of 4 gay models and strippers and had them mime to songs he'd recorded in his studio using session vocalists. The soul funk track Miami Heatwave becomes a dance floor hit in the US, but the project folded the same year. In 1984 he resurrects the brand with a new lineup, more disco sounding and including session vocals from John Kirby, previously of Mike and the Mechanics. But despite minor success on the gay circuit, this lineup split in 1987. A brand new lineup is quickly put in place the same year, where they have minor success with a cover of The Love I Lost and major label interest, but all is far from well. 2 of the members from this lineup, Jason John and Phil Creswick, upset at not being involved in the recordings, tried to get the band a new deal, but Levine takes legal action, finding a new lineup and keeping the name. It's also around this time that a young Simon Cowell contacts Ian about doing some work for Fanfare Records, but let's stick with the dancers for now. Jason and Phil set up a new band, recruiting Phil's boyfriend Mark as the 3rd member and calling themselves Big Fun after an Inner City song that was out at the time. Their first single, recorded by American producer Marshall Jefferson, flops, and unhappy with the mix, they instead team up with Stock Aitken and Waterman, who remix and record some new songs, advising them to hide their sexuality. They also record a few songs with Ian Curnow and Phil Harding, who had recently recorded Bros Push, and Pete Mixmaster Hammond, collectively forming their album, which made it to the top 10, as did a couple of their singles.
You guys, you've really taken off in the last few months, so have you enjoyed your first brush with stardom?
It's been hectic, isn't it?
Yeah?
Non-stop.
Hasn't really sunk in yet.
It's hard to reflect on what's happened until you actually see things around you, but it's been exciting, a lot of fun.
Right, so...
At the peak of their success, and following a top 20 hit with Sonia, their record label Jive Records unexpectedly dropped them from their 5-album deal, seemingly embarrassed at the association. And in less than 12 months, they've gone from an overnight success, top 10 album, 2 top 10 singles, to unemployed. Jason decided he'd had enough and moved to New York to manage a club. Whilst he was gone, they formed Big Fun 2 behind his back, releasing a single and claiming that Barry Gibb had written a handful of songs especially for them. But they soon ran out of money, fell out with each other and parted company. On closer inspection, it seems that Barry Gibb probably didn't even know who they were, and that it was all desperate hype to keep eyes on them, but failed. So what happened to them? Jason John moved back to the UK to manage Jerry Halliwell, and also produced some music for Lee Ryan from Blue, eventually moving to Brazil to manage boy band P9, where he sadly died in 2019, age 51. Phil Creswick started working as a painter-decorator, eventually starting his own company, although found himself back in the spotlight when he was charged for selling chemsex drugs, including crystal meth, MDMA, ketamine and GBL from his home in London. Mark Gillespie is rumoured to have become a DJ, but has kept a very low profile, and we hope he's well. It turns out that 7th Avenue and Big Fun both ended in 1991 and were closely followed by a raft of gay Svengalis who all employed Ian to produce, remix or write for their acts. Nigel Martin Smith with Take That in 1991, Tom Watkins with East 17 in 1992, Ian returned with Bad Boys Inc. in 1993, and Louis Walsh with Boyzone in 1994. Shaping the pop landscape for at least the next decade.